Yes. As far as he said he's going to be here, so.
George just called, just leave a Tony. Tony.
Okay.
They said there, Joe. Pretty good, Rich. Cruise through. All right. That's fine. How are you? Good. We're doing,
There's some agendas. No.
Is there?
Could you get it?
I just thought I'd give you a call a minute early to make sure it worked.
It's working, thank you.
Okay.
It was for agenda loss.
Actually, it's not
Do you have another agenda? No?
Dr. Weber, want to sit at the table? You can take mine.
Thank you.
You bet. Thanks, sir. How are you?
We should start a new thing, right?
I don't know.
I got one.
This is the start of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's start with whichever you want.
Let's call the order. Pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation.
Roll call.
Joe Martinez here. That's Moreno here.
Derek Everett.
Kathy.
Kathy Bueno here.
Okay, Kathy's by phone.
And for the record, George will be late.
Do that. George will be late. On his way.
You proof of the notice?
I didn't see no problem with it.
No, none on my side.
Motion to accept public notice.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Second.
Proof of public notice was accepted.
Do roll call.
Roll call.
Joe Martinez, yes.
That's Moreno, yes.
Derek Everett, yes.
Kathy Bueno, yes.
Approval of minutes from July 26, 2017. Meeting.
Did you see anything, Rob Calf?
Oh, they look pretty good to me. It took me a while. I had to read them a couple times because I was like, really? That's what was last month?
Yeah. I didn't see any problems.
I ignored it.
So moved to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Joe Martinez, yes.
That's Moreno, yes.
Derek Everett, yes.
Kathy Bueno, yes.
Public comments?
I signed up. Just one quick announcement, guys. I just wanted you to know that you're live right now. There's about a 1 minute delay, but it's on the Trinidad Times TV 71 YouTube channel. So, there's, like I said, there's 1 minute delay, so.
Financial billing reports.
Okay, financial, the only thing that's out of whack is, they were not able to resolve the issue with Medicaid in Colorado. They did track down the problem to find out that when they did the, changeover to state system, they entered us in as an air ambulance. So we haven't been paid. Luckily, Gabe Moreno knows a gentleman by the name of Leroy Garcia, who's a paramedic, and he's also at the State House. we met with him, and he says he's gonna try, and, he's got a liaison, the State House has a liaison with, Colorado Medicaid, and they will, they're gonna work on that to see if they can get the problem resolved. Other than that, I brought up the budget today, looked at all the numbers, and we're gonna be like, it looks like 200,000, so far, we're doing good on payroll. Yeah, I doubled what we have, which would be 14 months worth of payroll on this, and we're still coming out under payroll. We're still $30,000 below in expenses, and so everything is looking, unless there's any questions.
I just wanna know how much back haven't they paid us or what?
It looks like it's about $80,000 right now, and we still have about the same amount in county taxes.
So how far back did that go then?
February.
From February of this year? That's not too bad. So it's about 80 grand, you said?
Yeah, they, that's when they changed over their system. They went to a Hewlett Packard system, and apparently it's not working as well. So, I think the hospitals also have a lawsuit with the state because of that system, because they haven't been paid either. So,
There's some of that going on just across the board. So,
okay. Yeah, so everybody's mad at him, right, Kathy?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, the only other thing is that Enhanced Management Services is combining forces with another billing company, and they're gonna change the name. Everything stays the same, what we pay, the whole 9 yards. It's the same company, the same people, in the same location doing stuff. But they've asked that we sign to just update it, to go to the new merger, whatever they're doing. So if you guys don't have an issue with that, we already have a contract with them, it's just essentially updating the contract. Everything stays the same, they're 6.5%. Same numbers, same everything.
Who's it with?
Nope, they've been doing all right, so.
Yeah, Medibill, yeah.
Something like that.
So they think it's actually gonna improve the service that they provide, which they've done pretty well by us, so.
Yeah. With,
I don't have anything else for billing numbers. Any questions?
Nope. Nope. I'll go ahead and make the motion to go and accept the financial and billing report. Was that the billing too?
Yeah.
Financial and billing.
Second.
Roll call.
Joe Martinez, yes.
George Dasco, yes. Matthew Moreno, yes.
Eric Navarrete, yes.
Kathy Bueno, yes.
To the directors report.
Okay, we agreed that we were gonna have a range committee. Problem is, we said yeah, and then we didn't say who's gonna be on it. How many people are gonna be on it, so, I don't know what you guys wanna do, but they meet at weird hours, they meet in the morning, so it's gotta be someone that's available. George, you have plenty of time.
I think I have time and I always run out of time.
That's the way it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know who you guys would prefer to have.
Well, I think it's somebody who knows firearms and that should be on that. More so than me.
So would you think maybe Derek and I could meet with them, since I think he's also
Well,
an
I think
instructor?
it makes sense to have somebody who knows how to handle a gun and knows what guns do and knows what specs we should have and that, I think, and I'm not that person.
Okay.
Maybe not.
So what are we
I mean,
still-
I have guns, but I haven't shot them for years.
Are we still gonna go after that piece or
If
what's-
if it's reasonable for us to do that, but the last option they threw at us was.
That last option
That's what I
that's
said,
way
that's
too
why I was
much money.
saying, you know, I thought
That's what
that
all I-
was ridiculous because,
And we need to follow up on how you would ask about what came with that donation of the
Right,
land, so we
right,
still
'cause
haven't got any.
I think the land was donated and they made the improvement, so they do have some
Yes.
money in it, but.
I still think we need to follow up on that because.
yeah, because I think, I don't know, most of that stuff that's donated usually reverts back to the person, you know, so, I mean, you
Well, they're
know,
trying to keep it open with volunteer,
right,
so,
and it's
yeah.
not working.
And I think we also need to look at how it's gonna fit into our plans, because we were gonna have an indoor range in, right? And how is that gonna fit into our plans? Are we gonna be able to put it out there, or what, you know, I mean,
I
it's
think we keep it.
more convenient here.
It's more convenient, it's more expensive depending, well, not if we pay $280,000 for that property.
That's
But it would
what-
be, if we could get the property at, you know, we've thrown out the 50,000 number, then putting money into it to improve it to where it could be used for the majority of the time would make sense, because then it would save us on that building. But if not, then,
Well, I think we also have to look at, see if it's gonna be profitable. Who's gonna use that? Are we gonna make any money out of that? You know, that will help support that. Because if we're gonna bear all the brunt, we're better off having our own, I think.
well, and if that's the direction the board wants to take, I really don't have a dog in the fight. If you wanna just stick with the indoor.
I
continue
think we
with
need
that.
to look at the other
Well,
option.
I'd say follow up on what we, like Derek had said, let's find out and make sure there's nothing backdoor that ain't gonna come back and bite us.
Okay,
Because, and if there is, well then let's get out of that. Because I'd rather see $200 and some thousand go into a new facility
Yeah.
and go from there. Because then you can design and do what you need to do.
right. So,
We
we just
can
need,
get some sort of a business type plan or something drawn up on the pros and cons of each. Then we can make an educated decision on which one would be more profitable or more realistic for what the uses that we intended from.
right. That's what I planned on doing, just kind of, if we go with this is what it's looking like. If we go with this is just a
Right.
comparison to see what it's gonna do, but I still need someone to go with me and meet with them, so. I don't
Okay.
know.
What is your choice?
JoJo's kinda, I don't know if you get taught, sometimes they meet their board meetings are at 7:30 in the morning, but they're willing to change the time. I know Derek is probably the most familiar, Derek and Matt obviously are the most familiar with firearms, so either one of them, has the firearms knowledge, so however you guys wanna go. It's just someone to sit and meet with them, so. You wanna volunteer?
You're not jumping at this
I
thing.
can go.
Oh, you got school,
Maybe
that's right.
like an alternate, maybe if I can, somebody, but
I don't think there's gonna be that many meetings, we're just gonna,
yeah, I
alright.
can do it.
So if you guys are okay with Derek, then
Oh, I'm fine.
that's what we'll, okay, good,
I think that's a smart decision.
okay. Well, and that's handled. We had a, training at Honey, a Rescue Task Force, JTAC, it was actually PD and SO was together with the district. Kathy, you were out there, what was your perception?
You know, I was just amazed by the entire thing. I would have stayed the rest of the day if I didn't have to go feed my family. But that was just, to see the different groups from the community coming together and working to save the lives of our kids and our other community members, because I mean, it didn't matter if you were a teacher, a janitor, or a child, whatever, they were working to get you out of there and get you out of there safe. The realisticness that you try to put into it was just, it would give you goosebumps to stand there as a spectator in the hallway and watch. And for those that I know who were there the first time, you could see them from the first time they were doing it and watching till when I left later after a few times of practicing. Just the growth that happened was like night and day. And then those of you who've been doing this a while, to be able to instruct and do what you're doing is awesome. I really think we need to let the community know, and I feel like I need to draft a letter or something just to the editor to say, just so you know what's going on. Our first responders are doing everything within their power to make sure that they can save your life. And it was just amazing. I was blown away by the whole thing. There was no attitude, there was no drama as far as what organization you belong to or who you came from. We were all there for one mission, one goal, and that was to get people out and get them out safely. And I couldn't expect anything more than that. It was unbelievable to even see people who maybe felt like they've been wronged by one department or another, were still there doing what needed to be done to make this a success for our communities. And I can't say enough about it. It was awesome.
It was pretty professional over the radio, as I listened to it and stuff. It was pretty detailed in the whole bit. It was pretty good, especially
And
the
Mandy
dispatch, and that's the first time.
she did a great job, and Nick is just walked in, and he puts a lot of this stuff together. He kinda, if it wasn't for Nick, people would keep talking about it, and it wouldn't happen, but Nick is annoying enough that people just do what he wants, so they don't have to.
Might as well, right?
He's the heartbeat of it,
What do you
and
expect from Monterano?
he deserves recognition for the work he's putting into it, because I'm telling you, I cannot say enough about it, and I'm letting everybody know what these organizations are doing to protect us.
I'm glad you felt that way, and not only that, that's the first time that we've actually had the newly formed JTAC working together, the Joint Agency Tactical Team. So that's the first time you've seen PD, Sheriff, and everybody kind of do it jointly.
I'm like blown away. It's just awesome. It's so awesome.
It was pretty good. I listened, like I said, when it first came out, I said, wow, it's about time that, it was professional. Because most of the time it's not, but it was. This was really...
It's been a long time coming and a lot of hard work to put this together and get these agencies to actually work together, but we're there, so we're going to continue to keep pushing forward with that.
Well, if we
I
could...
remember a time when they didn't work together at all.
At all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally
Yeah.
different, George. I wish you would have seen it. It was impressive.
You would not know what agency the person was with. When they're all suited up and doing their thing, you would have no clue if you didn't know. They all just came together as a team that, yeah, it didn't matter. Red, blue, black, or white, it didn't matter. We were all here for the same mission, it was awesome. I will attend as many of those as I can just to see that. That was
It's worth the price of admission, huh?
absolutely. And I didn't even get a hamburger.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm glad you guys are happy with Nick, because Mr. Acting President, Nick, if we could go back to public comment, Nick, I think had something he wanted to ask of the board. Go ahead, Nick.
All right. Put me on the spot.
We're gonna digress here?
Just for a moment.
Good, because I wasn't here.
All right. So, as you know, I went from Trinidad Police Department to Primero School District, and work with the Sheriff's Office as well. So, at all the schools I've been to, we're having problems with the reunification process. Nobody's really done that part of the whole standard response protocol. We do the lockdown, we do the lockout, we do the evacuation, but the last piece of it we have not really done. So I work with Dan and Gabe, and we're trying out of Primero to get something going out of there. And if we have to go somewhere, we'll pull from Primero to any school district in the county. So part of the agreement with the Sheriff's Office is that I have to help the county schools. It's a great deal for me, it's a great deal for everybody involved. I'm all over the place, let me go back. So these guys have, I guess, 5 tablets that they pulled out of service. I was asking if the ambulance district would donate them to Primero to put in our reunification process. So what I have it set up with our IT guy is we're trying to modernize it. We have paper and pencil format in place. Parent comes in, signs the form, goes to the next station, grabs the key, goes to the next station. So what we want to do is have checks and balances, because the reunification process is very, very important to make sure that everybody's accounted for. So what we want to do is put the tablets in place. That way when the parents come, they type the information in. Our IT guy in Primero is one of the best, I would say, in the world.
He is good.
Yeah.
Very, very good. We input the information there. We've got tablets already, but there are set for the people with the students, and then the last station. So how our IT has it somewhat set up is that they start with the information, they type it in, he hits send, and there's already a Wi-Fi connection already put in place. So they know already, before the runner actually gets there, they know what's coming up and what student's going to get ready to be released. So that helps the process further along. So when they go to the last station, they actually check mark it, and everything's accounted for. So we have a hard copy, and then we also have a spreadsheet through Google Docs. It's all lined out there. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. Hope that makes sense.
So we bought these tablets when we first implemented the ESO program, the run reporting software, and that was like 3 years ago. So, we've already had to upgrade to the tough books that we have. So those are sitting in the computer room, and it's my feeling that if we can give them to someone that's gonna use them countywide, that's the best thing for the taxpayers and the citizens. And especially the reunification part, because like Nick said, we can go in, we can pull people out, but there's gotta be a process where you know where those kids go after something
Yeah.
happens. And it could be just a natural disaster, the responsibility. And so, if the board agrees to that, then since we're not using them, they'll go to Primero, but Primero is setting up a mobile reunification unit. So they will respond anywhere where an incident happens, and they'll do the reunification.
So we have 2 expeditions. We're waiting right now to get our radios put in them. Hopefully after the first of the month, we'll have our new communication system put in place in Primero. But we want to run everything out of there because nobody else has said Trinidad hasn't done that key portion of it, and everywhere else has not done that key portion of it. And it's kind of like whack, and I really couldn't do anything when I was working for the PD because it's a school thing. But Primero is really trying to be the forefront of safety, and that's where we're just trying to if we can set it up there, it's available to everybody else outside of Primero.
How many?
I think we have
I think they're 5.
5 now, yeah. I think
And
it's
and
5.
that's what you're requesting?
You're requesting 5 tablets?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
The only thing I'm gonna say is just put it down on paper for backup,
Yeah.
and I agree to it. I mean, with that.
Well, we did that
paper,
with other ones where what
Yeah.
we've done is put the serial numbers down.
Right.
Basically, we're saying
put
you're
it down on
taking these,
paper.
they're not ours, you're responsible for them.
Right, and that's all I'm saying, is just put it down on paper, and then we'll go ahead and vote on it. And this way it's on the record.
It would be used if we had no type of natural disaster type thing too, if we needed to reunify somewhere else, we could pull from that resource.
I'll make
Just
the
another
motion that we
resource.
go ahead and donate them 5 tablets that are not in use, that you had, purchased 3 years ago, to go ahead and go to Primero School.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Joe Martinez, yes?
George Jasko, yes.
Matthew Moreno, yes.
Eric Navarrete, yes.
Kathy Bueno, yes?
There it is.
Alright,
Just
thanks guys,
fulfill it up.
appreciate it, thank you
That's
Nick.
it.
Alright, I'm off to the next stop.
No problem.
Thank you guys.
Hey,
See you, Nick.
take care.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Big news is the EMT class, we have 25 students signed up for EMT class. The classroom is absolutely packed. They've never had 25 people in EMT class here. So, things are looking good. We've actually got people from, the forestry division up in Denver driving down to take our class. So, yeah, I'm kind of impressed
That's
with that.
awesome.
It's pretty exciting.
25? Wow.
Yeah, and then I received a call from, and an email from Malia Schmidt over in Levita EMS, and she would like us to put together, to handle her continuing education for her folks over there. I think we have the same medical director, right? So, I'm gonna put something together for her. She's willing to pay for it, and I think we're gonna help them out, because they don't have the personnel to do it, but we'll help them with their continuing education. So, you know, we're branching out. I think it's good news. And the final thing I have on the director's report is, as of this morning, I think he texted it out about 6:30, 7 o'clock this morning. David Detray, AKA Bubba, is now a paramedic.
Well, good.
Woo-hoo,
Good.
yay. That's
Passed
awesome.
everything good.
Yep. Yeah.
Money well spent then.
Yep. He did a great job. So I'm pretty proud of him.
Awesome. Congratulate him for us.
I will. All right.
Anything else
What's
for
the
the
director?
directors?
That's it. That's all I got.
Move on to operations.
Operations for the month of July, we're just shy of 200 requests for service, but other than that, everything's about the same. Everything's spread out evenly. Winning doctor for the month is Dr. Edward.
Usually.
He's a multiple winner.
Yeah. We're just gonna give him that trophy full time.
We should do that. Put
Like
together
that.
a trophy.
I like that idea. Be a traveling trophy.
The only other thing I had was, we're supposed to name somebody to be in charge of the budget for this year. Believe it or not, that's coming up already. And in our September meeting, we're gonna have to have the preliminary budget presentation. So I think in our bylaws, it already says that the director is the guy that puts together the budget. So I don't see any reason to change that. I'll throw that together for you. And then we'll also notice the September meeting that on the agenda will be the preliminary budget. You guys to look at. It has to be before October 15th, so the end of September is before October 15th.
Usually.
Yes.
Anything for miscellaneous items?
Yeah, I got, something, I got a phone call from the Trinidad High School, Reno. He wants something to do, or see if we can get somebody up there to teach it.
This has been going on, Junie's been talking to him, this is going back, gotta be 2 months, maybe 3 months. And he just doesn't have the time. He doesn't have time to do anything else. So we said what we would do is maybe alternate years. We'll do Honey, because you gotta be 16 to take it. And so he's been trying through us, he tried through Fire, he's tried through Lori Ray up at the college, and Junie just doesn't have the time to do that, all the stuff he's gotta do with the QRTs, the CPR classes, and doing the CMR class. He doesn't have, and I told him that. I told him that,
What about,
it's gotta be 2 months ago.
what about somebody else teaching, or
I
bringing
just-
some of the other guys in that normally come in and help
That's
teach
kind of
out?
you've gotta have a primary instructor designation, and so that'd be a whole process to get, there's no way we could do it by the beginning of the school year.
He told me to ask, so.
Yeah,
He had called me too.
Yeah.
When I was in. But I think there were some logistical problems last year too.
Very much so.
Yeah, you know.
People coming in late, people pulling out, and it was just very difficult to.
That when it does, if and when it does get set up, that are gonna have to be addressed.
Yes,
Yeah,
and that's on their end, because we
yeah.
showed up to teach, and
that's exactly, you
There
show
was-
up to
yeah.
teach, and it's up to them to go and make sure.
Well, there
people
were some
follow.
guidelines and some rules set
Yeah,
up
there needs to
that
be.
weren't followed, I think.
right.
Yeah, and they have to follow these, because these guys, I mean, they
It's a
give
very
up a
nice
lot
way
of
of-
time doing this.
What does it take? to
All
have
right,
to
no
get that?
problem, but he had called me and asked me, so.
What does it take to have to get somebody in line
Yeah,
to do that?
the state has to
have
hold
a
calls.
backup?
You know, I mean, I
If it
don't.
gets too much for one guy to do, like
Well-
if you keep getting a lot of requests, what is the process of
Well, you can
somebody
only
else?
do, so many, so he's got, like the kids that are freshmen and sophomore this year, then next year they can take it. So that's what we're thinking, is we can get to the schools.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
set up for juniors only.
Right.
Juniors and seniors, I think.
Right,
the way it
juniors and
was
seniors.
set up.
It
So,
just
but-
seems like it's becoming more of
More
an
and more.
interest of
But
kids
what would
around
it
here.
take to get another instructor, I think is what,
We
What
have
I'd like to
the
see.
state puts on those classes a couple of times a year, where they have a primary instructor
Yeah.
class, and you send somebody up to Denver, and then
yeah,
they,
cause I know, like Phil Dornkamp and, it was John Lucero, after so many classes that they taught and stuff, they jumped online and did it online, and they became certified instructors.
yeah, they're just, and not only that, but it's kind of, he's doing his first one with this. I hate to overwhelm him with something that, remember what happened last year, a couple of months ago, is it was under the Colorado Division of Fire Prevention and whatever, I got 11 initials. And that's who the training went through. They didn't have all those requirements. Then, a couple of months ago, it went, somebody said, well, it's a medical thing, let's put it under the same people that regulate EMTs and medics. And so they did. So this is the first class under CDPHE, so we kind of want to see
What it's gonna look.
exactly.
Okay.
And if it's flawless and it works just as well as it did with the other thing, because it used to be you had to have fire department proctors do the practicals on the test. So we could teach it, but you had to have a fire department person administer. They had to go somewhere to take the written test, and then you had to have guys that were actual proctors for the Colorado Division of Fire Prevention do the practical exam. And we didn't have any here, so we actually had to get with Trinidad Fire to do the testing. So now, I'm hoping it's easier, but because it's a new process, I hate to give him more
Yeah, and I understand that, but, and I'd hate to see Trinidad high school kids miss out on something that is beneficial
Well,
to
any
them
kid
too.
to miss out on
Yeah,
stuff,
you know,
you know.
I mean, whether it's, yeah, any kid, whether it's Primero or whatever, you know.
Well, I figured he did it last year, he did it for 2 years.
And
So-
they had good results from most of those kids, I think.
Yeah.
Most of the kids at home,
there
and
was a
that,
couple.
Well,
Next.
Honey, I think
much better.
much better. And so I think anybody that was a junior or senior that wanted to take it, got it the last 2 years.
Yes.
So then we skip a year, next year, we can do it again at Trinidad High, so those freshmen should be able to move into they'll be juniors and seniors, so we'll be
Yeah.
able to do it. I think that, to me, that was a smart way to do it, especially with the change in testing and, because that's all stuff he's gotta learn, and you've gotta do each individual student, so the more he has them, and it's gotta be set up, because they're 2 different classes, so they have to be given 2 different numbers, right, so.
But in the meantime, I'd like to see somebody else get trained too, that would probably help him out in case he does get too overwhelmed.
Well, okay, that's one of the reasons that he was asking. He's got CPR, he did CPR today, he's got the EMR class, and it's in his schedule. But it was hard for him because he was traveling out there and had to be here and had to be up there. And then one school is off on Mondays and the other school is off on Fridays, and yeah, so. But we're just kind of taking a breather for this one year, and then next year, we'll put in place what needs to be put in place to make sure we can get those.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We'll have the instructors.
And Dan, just out of curiosity, would it be possible to set something up that maybe at just to think about, at a neutral location, say a college classroom or something where
We
all the
tried that,
students
Kathy.
invited?
We tried that. We said we'd do it in our classroom. They didn't want to do that.
Okay.
We thought about bringing everybody in and doing one class,
One big class.
and then they didn't want the kids from home being too far to go.
Well, they didn't want them on the road that
Right.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we thought about that, but there was a much greater interest in Honey than there was in Trinidad, so that's, and they approached it first, so
Yeah.
that's where we went.
I think that's why Lewis called me. He said he had a lot of requests from a lot of kids that would like to take that course.
Well, I think he said that, and there was supposed to be a meeting where all the kids were gonna get together, kids and parents, and nobody showed up, so I don't know what happened with that.
All I know is I seen him for that football deal, and he asked me, I said, oh, I'll talk to him and see what's going on.
So that's the
But I
deal.
know, I like I told Lewis, I told him, I thought that, anyway, I heard that there were some problems with the class and how, what kids were in the class and
Yeah.
those kind of things.
And that's true, and I don't think this is the forum to discuss those problems,
Yes.
but they were
Yeah.
issues that,
Right.
Well, that's why I don't
there
want to
were,
be specific.
there were some major issues, yeah.
Well,
And
that's
and
what
I
I'm
don't think
saying.
they've been addressed
Our
yet.
protocol needs to be followed.
And once
that's all.
they're, well, I think he's got time to get those issues addressed
Yeah.
if we're gonna teach it next year.
Yeah.
Because if we run into the same problem again, then we just can't keep growing good after bad.
All right. Yeah, just let it throw that out there.
Anything else from miscellaneous?
No.
I mean, if your executive session,
Nope. Next date?
next, meeting date, Wednesday, September 20th.
Wednesdays are still good for you, huh?
Yeah.
See, where
Yeah.
Thursdays are better for me, but I can still make it. I can get out, I'll get out of practice early.
I'll get the call, I'm on my
I'm
own.
just an assistant, so
I'll be assistant, so I'm
I
gone.
can get out of there.
Okay, so,
I ain't covering that.
Should be here anyway, yeah. September 20th, that's 4:30.
Yeah, it's good.
All right.
Just
Kathy,
mention
that
it.
good with you?
That will work.
You have no idea, you're just saying it.
No, I just put it on my calendar, actually.
Oh, that's meaningless.
I'm clearing my calendar for it.
All right.
And also, the motion to adjourn,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
roll call.
Joe Martinez says.
George Dasco, yes. Matthew Moreno, yes.
Eric Navarette, yes?
Kathy Bueno, yes.